All right, welcome back to Onebar and Lupagus Show. I am Lupagus here with Justin from the Purple Persuasion. Justin, how the hell are you doing? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. I was in Germany this last week, so
Nice.
recovering from the jet lag. But other than that, it's been fun, and glad to be back. So we got some
Well,
news finally to talk about, so that's good too. So it's we're almost there. We're like what 5
we're
weeks from
close.
training camp, right around the corner, and then it's news season, and all the fun begins.
Well, let's start this by saying Guten Tag to you. I don't know what that means, but
That's hello.
There you go.
That's I only know Guten Tag and Danke, and that's it. So
Nice.
you fit right in.
Well, it's Guten Tag, this thing. And you're right. There actually was some news here. I was collecting these nuggets.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, these are actually pretty good. Let's start with Charlie Walters. He had a couple things. Let's start with this. Cam Akers, he said if he passes a physical, he's likely going to re-sign with the Vikings. That would be all right. I'd be on board with that.
I think so too. I agree. I think we got, I like where we're at running back wise with Jones. I think he's a huge step over Madison. Ty Chandler, I think he's good. I don't like him in a full-time role. He showed some flashes, but I think, a full bell back handling all the workload and everything. I don't think he's that type of running back. And I think Akers is maybe a depth piece. Jones has struggled with injuries.
Mhm.
I don't think he's played a full season. I think at least 2 or 3 years. So, and like I said, I don't think Ty Chandler can do 1 million snaps a game. We got McBride, who seems to can't get activated from the practice squad. So
don't even talk about him.
McBride season's going to have to step up if we can. But I mean, I like Akers. I think they can get him super cheap, and he knows the system. He knows KOC. He knows the playbook now. And if they can get him, I think what Charlie Walters wrote, it was somewhat unclear if it was just a passing a physical in general, or if he actually had the Vikings actually had something scheduled with him. So I think that's going to be something to watch. But I don't think what he had November, even if they do sign him, I still think he's a long way off, especially with the second torn ACL. It was the Achilles for him. So if you get a late run out of him in the season, maybe, but I still don't think he's going to be ready by September or even October, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I feel better with him as part of the depth chart than with him without it. So from that standpoint,
you're getting them cheap too. So it's like they got like 26 mil still they can spend, or 26 or 29 million. So they could do a lot of stuff, and I think you could get him for better minimum or just really next to nothing, or high risk or low risk, high reward type of deal, and a lot of incentives, something like that if you can get on the field. So if they bring him back, why not? I think he showed some flashes, and I think he fits the scheme well.
It wasn't reports last week or the week before he's actually been working out at TCO. So I mean, he's there.
Yeah, I think he's there. Or was it TCO? I think it was a TCO, or like the grass that they use at TCO or something. You might be right actually on that. It's a lot of things are blurring together now at this point. But I think you actually were right.
Your Guten Tag on.
That's some good German beer. It was good.
All right, well, I think we both agree Cam Akers back would be a welcome addition to this depth chart. Charlie Walters also says this: if neither first-round picks, quarterback J.J. McCarthy or Dallas Turner, turn out to be productive next season, major front office changes would be expected in 2025. Wow.
Yeah, I like that one. And a lot of people are riled up about it. And the good old Charlie Walters. He's had some hits, he's had some misses, but I think people underestimate him a little bit. I think he does got steam. He knows things, and he's been more right than actually people think he's been wrong. But he is kind of clickbaity-ish, maybe not a Florio type, but this one was interesting. And, I think Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi are coming into year 3 of their 4-year deal. They don't have extensions yet. So this is a critical year. And I know all the beat writers have said, like, this is a critical draft. This is a critical season. Who knows when we see JJ McCarthy, so you can probably throw him out. I don't know why it's pretty clear they're not going to force to play him anytime soon. Dallas Turner's somebody, and Van Ginkel and Grenard are going to be the starters. So like, how much work is he actually going to get? Is he going to get rotational snaps? Is he going to work his way into the starting lineup? I know Van Ginkel's, coming back from his injury, and still it's been TBD on him and nothing concrete. So is he going to be a starter on week 1? I think they have leverage until year 4. I don't think they're going to fire anybody in 2025, even if Turner's doesn't show up, and even if McCarthy doesn't play. I think drafting a quarterback in the top 10 buys you time. So I think it's a long shot, but maybe 2026 I could start to see some movement, but 2025 I think is still a little bit too soon for me. But he said it. I put it out there. You guys take it how you want it.
I agree with you. Like, I was surprised J.J. McCarthy was included here, because I mean, it's been clear from day one he's a project to bring along slowly. You're not really expecting production out of him next year, so whatever. Speaking
unless they're trying to downplay everything, I don't know. I'm holding out like maybe they're just trying to protect Sam Darnold in a way. I don't know. Nick and I have we've chatted some like conspiracy theories. Like maybe they're just really like down. They don't want to hurt Sam Darnold's feelings in case they do have to bail on him. So I don't know. It's maybe he does start, but I don't know.
We'll what if Addison explodes again? What if Mekhi Blackman does? There's other factors too that could extend your time. It just I'm surprised that it was just this class because
absolutely.
All right. Well, speaking of J.J. McCarthy, Ben Gosling said he's working on his footwork and reading space and defensive perspective. Gosling is adamant that they're going to take their time with him and no rush to put him on the field. So, which again would kind of counteract what Charlie Walters is saying.
Yeah, the beat writers are real adamant. It's not just Gosling; it's Lewis, Seifert. They're all in on. I think Lewis had a tweet earlier this week where he's like, I don't even see him at like halfway through the season, and he seems like that. If Sam Darnold's at least playing somewhat decent, not even like bad, even if he's like meh, I think he's going to play the whole season if that's the case, unless JJ McCarthy's really lighting it up and he's taking the next steps. But I think throw out week 1. I think maybe the discussions can begin until like maybe after London or the bye week or is that Rams on Thursday Night Football like week 8, 9 or something like that. And then we have a nice little home stretch there. So it's a gauntlet to start off. Maybe they're protecting Darnold. They don't want to say, make this a QB battle. And maybe just JJ McCarthy comes out of nowhere and does start week 1. I think it's a long shot, but I think the beat writers are all doubling down on it pretty hard. And they have the most insight to everything. So we kind of got to trust it in a way.
They do. And if you don't believe it, you got to trust it.
Yeah.
You mentioned Sam Darnold. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN said he thinks the Vikings will get their money's worth out of Sam Darnold so they can develop JJ McCarthy behind the scenes, incrementally give him more and more in a high-volume passing attack. JJ will be a long-term starter, but they think Sam Darnold will give the Vikings their money's worth just from that perspective.
Yeah. I do think Darnold's, he's in his best situation he's ever been in his career. I think he's learned a lot from being with, I can't remember all the receivers at the top of my head, but there was like this list of his top like 6 receivers that he's had between the Jets and like the top 3 for the Jets, top 3 for the Panthers. And I could tell you, I maybe heard of like 2 of the people's names and they're like not good at all. So it's like, he's going to like a completely another level. And this is his last chance. If he can't succeed in this offense with this amount of weapons around him, he's a backup at best in this league. But I think for $10 million, people say it's a lot, and for a quarterback, it's nothing, So it's, if they get a few wins out of it and they do need to pivot to McCarthy, or he does play a whole season and McCarthy can really develop and they can get all of his footwork and all the stuff that they want to get, improved with him, it's a bonus. So as long as he doesn't sit there and just go like 0-7 to start like the season or something stupid like that, or 0-6, like going into the bye, I think they would have gotten their money's worth of that. And I think anything past the bye week would be a bonus. Obviously, if the longer he plays, that means he's doing well and the team's doing decent. But he's got no excuses. So, and for $10 million, if he gives us a couple wins and they need to shift to JJ, I think it's getting your money's worth for him.
Yeah, there was another report that came out last week. I don't know if you saw that. It said basically, don't expect Sam Darnold to be good. That was like, I can't remember who wrote it, but it was.
That was a.
I'm sure
I know Rappaport's been on him a little bit too. Who was that though? It was somebody from ESPN. Yeah, who is? Yeah, that's that new guy. There's like a new guy that started, Mike Clay, I think maybe from ESPN.
Oh yeah, it was Mike Clay.
And maybe he's been around a little bit, but he's not like big mainstream, got to get a lot of clicks type of guy. He's like Sam Darnold is who he is.
Yeah.
Don't expect him to make any leaps. And Darnold's got a good arm. He's got good talent. It's just been the interceptions that have plagued him through his career. So if he doesn't turn the ball over, he should be able to put up 2-3 touchdowns a game. And it's going to keep us in the game. And I think our defense is going to be improved. And we'll go from there. Tough teams, so we'll see.
I agree. John Boy, whoever the hell John Boy is, they did a power rankings of the NFL head coaches. Kevin O'Connell came in 12th.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? I got one, but what do you think? KOC at 12.
It's a little bit too high for me, but I think he's underappreciated, and for me, it's the draft. I think Kwesi, if somebody's going to nail, consider the front office or O'Connell, where you're going to put the blame, if there is any, for people, that want to kind of play that card. To me, it's way more on Kwesi, given he's had like 2 subpar drafts. The first one was atrocious. 2023 looked, maybe we got a couple players, if that, but nobody like outside of Addison, nobody really that great. We'll see for 2024, obviously. But yeah, Kevin O'Connell, he did give us 13-3 and kind of got us more wins than I thought we did once Kirk went down last season. And there was a lot of games where we screwed up at the last second and or Mullins would throw a stupid pick or something like that. So we could have had 10 wins last year, even with Kirk down for over half the season or whatever it was. So if we started 1-4, so I do buy it. He's definitely a top 15 coach. I put him maybe towards 15 rather than 12. I know we're talking about a couple positions, so that is what it is. But I do like Kevin O'Connell, and if we want to go back to the Charlie Walters tweet and they want to revamp the front office, I don't think Kevin O'Connell should be included in any of those conversations. Obviously, if JJ McCarthy comes in and doesn't play very well, then I think they're all kind of hitched to him. But if he can get a couple touchdowns out of Dobbs and Mullins, I mean, it could be, we could be building a type of offense where it doesn't really matter what quarterback is in there and that they're going to do enough. Obviously, the defense is completely different with Flores, but yeah, I think a little too high, but I think he's a top 15 head coach in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree it's too high too. I just think, and I know what their criteria was. Was it just coaching games, or was it like his relationship with players, what he does? I mean, because how many games last year where I actually thought his conservative approach probably cost us a couple wins?
It did.
The Bears, and so we were down quite a bit last year as a coach. So
he's got some learning to do for sure. I think he has learned a lot. I think what he got out of that, his first 2020 season roster. I mean, Kirk was good, but there was a lot of people that were at the tail end or the end, and people want to play like, well, a lot of those games aren't going to go your way the next season, and they kind of did it, but there still wins. There was still a lot of gritty. I think he regressed in some aspects last year with, like you said, some conservative play calling, not going for the dagger. But I think he's going to build on it, and I would at least like to see him through year 4, and I would like to see him a little bit longer, especially with JJ McCarthy. And then if that's a fail, then I think that's the nail in the coffin. But I don't think it's going to get to that point.
Makes sense. Last nugget this week is about Jerry frickin' Tillery of all people. Alec Lewis.
That was a wild tweet, yeah.
Yeah, to increase interior pressure this season, the Vikings could use Jerry Tillery, upticking stunts in games, and infusing more of the edge rushers. Jerry Tillery. I'm not even convinced Jerry Tillery is making this team, but let alone using him to create interior pressure.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact contract numbers, but they could cut him and it's nothing. So he's not a lock to make the roster. I think if he does make the roster, he's either playing well or he's got that first round type buzz. Yeah, I just thought like Lewis was. He's a good guy, but I thought that was kind of funny. That just like Tillery's gonna fix the interior pressure. I don't know if it's that easy, but he also mentioned a couple other things and moving the edge rushers around a little more. I know Dallas Turner can slide inside.
Put him inside.
Van Ginkel can go in the inside too. I think Grenard's more on the outside, but he can. I think Flores is going to be able to mix around and get some interior pressure. But I think they know it's a concern because they did. They were in on Christian Wilkins pretty high, but obviously got way outbidded by the Raiders. And I think they were going to draft. Was it Tavion Sweat? I think who went in the first round, or was it the other Texans?
They were high on Byron Murphy.
Yeah, Byron Murphy. I think they wanted him, but he got picked a pick or two before Turner. So I think defensive tackle was their primary focus in free agency and like a top guy and in the draft too. But obviously got snapped and had to pivot a little bit. And I think Turner's still an awesome pick that I think is going to pay dividends too. But I think they know that their interior pressure is bad. And I think Gosling or Lewis also said too that next year in free agency, there's a couple who's the Packers guy, the big beef eater there in the middle.
Pickett? No, it's it.
No, it's the.
I know. I just saw this too.
I'm blanking on. There's two like kind of higher end defensive tackles interior for next year that he mentioned that they could possibly pursue. They're not like Christian Wilkins good, but they're still pretty good. So I think Tillery's their fix this year, and then they're going to go pretty hard next year. I think in free agency for one of those, and that's what they've been building all this money. And people want to complain about the draft capital. We don't have much next year, but in the grand scheme of things, with $60-70 million or next year in cap space and even more in 2026, they'll be able to land any guy they want and pay him and fix kind of the problems through free agency and then kind of build around McCarthy on the rookie contract.
So it sounds to me like you're not in on Jerry Tillery.
I don't. He wasn't. I mean, these people, they're on their like third, fourth, fifth teams. There's a tell there, and it's very rare that people go on to their multiple teams and turn it around.
And find it.
The statistics aren't in your favor. So, I mean, maybe if he's decent, like he makes the roster and makes a couple splash plays when we need it during the season, I'd be pretty happy with it. But I think if you're expecting some like 6, 7, 8 sacks on the interior, I don't know if that's going to happen.
You're nuts.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Justin, thank you so much again. Thank you. We really appreciate you getting back right off the plane and onto the show.
Absolutely.
What dedication you have to the Onebar Lupagus show.
Always, man. I always appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, and hopefully we get some more news and nuggets here in the next several these next 4 weeks.
Absolutely. If you guys have not yet followed TPP on Twitter, be sure you do it. What are you guys up to now for followers?
We're like 7,200 or 7,300 now, something like that. So moving along a little slower now with the season and everything, but we're still giving you guys the news.
Yeah.
Followers are just part of the gig, but it's we still just enjoy what we do and giving you guys content and the discussions too. I know a lot of people don't like what we put. We just put it out there. We didn't say it. They said it. You guys take it how you leave it. And but it keeps the discussions going when a slow period. So that's
you just instigate Vikings Twitter. That's what you guys are doing. You're poking the bear.
Yeah, sometimes.
All right. Well, happy 4th of July. I've been wishing that a little bit early here. And ironically enough, that's what my fact ties in today. The types of fireworks that cause the most injuries on the 4th of July are firecrackers, sparklers, and bottle rockets.
All good stuff.
Mm-hmm.